All right. Hello, Sunshine Community.
Hello.
Is that a computer? No, it's my AC, and I can't make it any quieter. And it's hot, so I have to have it on. I'm sorry. I could put music on, I guess. I don't know how loud it would be, though. Yeah, I'll put music on. I don't know how loud to make it, so.
We have music. Wow. This is a fancy podcast.
It is Delfino Plaza music in the background. Hopefully, it is not too loud. If I bump the mic. I will try not to hit my mic. I'm very bad at not hitting my mic ever since I got a desk mic. Uh, but yeah, welcome everyone to the Inside Line Bingo Talk Show with Deathline and Yato. Name courtesy of
Hello.
Lego and uh, Ambo's suggestion. So week one, we're just gonna kind of go down the list, just review some stuff, review kind of just all the scores on week one, and then we've picked out a few matches here to kind of go more in depth about. So we'll get there eventually. But how are you doing, Yato?
Yeah, good. A little tired from work, but it's a funny time to talk about bingo. And the last week was a very good week.
I think week one was very good. I think season four is off to a good start. I think a lot of the matches were good. I don't think anything went terribly wrong either.
Also, was good to see like all the older players come back again, like Sid, Rainbow, Popo, Turbo. So that matches were also pretty high.
Mm-hmm. Discord is trolling me. I'm trying.
Well, it's the audio of my mic.
Okay, there we go. I've made Yato
Yeah.
louder.
Okay.
Should be a little bit better now. Okay, so yeah, I think season four is going pretty good right now. We started off with Google Cheese versus Tanuki Mario, which Google Cheese, this is their first time in Bingo League. Tanuki Mario's second season. In draft, that ended as a 13-5 in GC's favor.
Yes. There was a kind of match, like we saw like the improvement of Tanuki. That was
Yeah,
good to see.
there's
Like the
definitely improvement, and
Mhm.
I think GC did a very good showing in their first match as well. I guess we can just kind of show the end result of the cards that we're not going to go too in depth about. There was the snipe of the century. I don't remember what goal it was. I think it might have been Shadow Mario.
Oh yeah, Shadow Mario, because uh, what happened was the commentators on click a goal
Mm-hmm.
from Google Cheese, and then Google Cheese press seed to watch how many shines he had,
Mm.
and then Tanuki took the goal.
Wow. Insane
Yeah, I
snipe.
was commented that much. I did forget that. Yes, I was commented with Rahira. Was crazy to see that. And
So,
that was the snipe of the century. Was literally only because that C menu happening.
mm-hmm. It was a crazy time to Z menu too. So,
Yeah.
I guess the end result is be wary of when you Z menu and when you click gold. Dex versus Yato. We're gonna come back to this one. I want to come back and in-depth review this. After that, we had Peaches versus Popo. This was a lockout match that ended 13-7 in Peaches' favor. kind of just was a straight lockout card, and Peaches just kind of rolled with it, from what I remembered. Just seemed like a pretty straight
Yeah.
setup. Popo was working Serena here, so
Yeah. Also, Bobo was come back to bingo, right?
yeah, Popo and
So.
both Reed are coming back to Bingo, joining us in
Mhm.
season 4. I don't believe they have been in Bingo League. They have been in tournaments prior to that, so it's been quite a while for Popo, but they are a very good gamer, and I look forward to seeing them rise up
Yes.
in the
Al-
standings.
Also, Peaches is a very strong router, so all the experience
Yes.
of Peaches and his speed made that this card happen.
So a little bit of a tough matchup week 1 for Popo,
Mhm.
but I think 13-7 is a good showing. Next up, we had Darkman versus Earthide. Earthide. I'm butchering the name.
I don't
I'm butchering the name. I
know.
apologize. This is a 3-0 in row control, with Earthide getting only 3 clicks here, which were 15 Bianco, count to hidden, and 12 Oval Shines, which are kind of rough clicks. I do believe Earthide is new to Bingo in general,
Yes.
so
Mm-hmm.
um, when you're new and you're playing row control, it's kind of hard. row control is a very
Yeah, definitely.
row control is a very annoying format to properly understand and engage when you're first starting out and first learning the formats. So I think
Pro
it's
control is already hard with like old player like me or you or all the people. Pro control is hard in general.
yeah, not everyone can be PK. So row control master, but I hope this only encourages them to continue to learn more bingo stuff and to improve. Good showing from Darkman. Seems like a pretty overall decent route here that I'm looking at with some Rico through Hoverless, Rico
Mhm.
Hidden, M Graffitis, and Blues, kind of just and Bosses, which is all basically Rico. Of course, there's some other setup there, but overall looks like a pretty nice route indeed.
Oh yeah, really nice. Showing the experience of Darman playing already 3 seasons, I think. So yeah, really
So
good.
yeah. After that, we had Derp Space versus Jukatox over in Row Control, which Derp ended up taking 3-1. This match was actually pretty close towards the end. I believe Derp ended up making some great calls towards the end of the match that ended up just winning out. I believe row 3 and row 2, and then they were getting set up for row 5 towards the
Mhm.
end. I do remember Juco was having to split some goals, like 5 Bianco Shines and like Serena 4 hidden. So having to split that kind of progress in row control is really, really scary because it gets hard to gauge what row you need to be focusing on towards the end of a match when it's getting close. Because all the rows that Derp ended up winning uh, were filled out, right? All of these rows are 3-2,
Yes.
so it's not like it was a complete shutout in any of the rows. Juka ended up getting their 1 point in a shutout row, but I think that tells you how close this match was, even if the score says 3-1.
And it's also pretty like yeah, the score is like 3-1, but having the 2 goals there clicked by Yoga was all that work doing that goal.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like losing a row where you have 2 goals is so hard.
It's it's painful. It's really painful, especially when it's at the end of the match and you want to get that click so bad. Row control is tough. I can
Yeah,
say that.
control is tough.
Row control is tough. Following that, we had Game Stabled versus Elias in draft on Friday. That was a 13-9 victory for Game Stabled. I believe Game drafted in pink here, so 4 Pianta Shines, Bianca for Harvellous, 50 from 2, 5 Birds, 7 Links, whereas Elias took 9 Pipes, 15 Bianco, 6 Rico, 17 M Graffitis, and 2 Gelato Hiddens.
This match was a pretty solid route from Game Stable, I think.
Just on the draft, I think these are pretty evenly split. I think I like Games a little bit more here. Just slightly, but I think these drafts are pretty even overall. And
Yeah, both have like some goals that are weird. Like for example, Game Stable have the 7 link blooper that can be a little weird to get sometimes. With other stuff that Game Stable draft.
yeah, because there's no 5 links on this card, and Rico doesn't look that great, especially with 17 M Graffitis being drafted by your opponent. I guess you end up... There is a Rico 8 or 9 NPCs and then 3 rockets on the card. But blues don't seem too good here either. So it's kind of awkward. Bianca was fine, and then like there is 2 hiddens in Gelato, so that's fine to contest. Pianta is fine on this card, but 7 links is just kind of awkward sometimes. With some other drafts, and then 9 pipes. Drafting 9 pipes is one of those things where it's like, it may be good sometimes, but other times it just doesn't feel right. And I think this is one of those times that drafting 9 pipes ended up not feeling right, even if the opponent drafts 4 Pianta Shines, just because of...
I don't remember the order of the draft, but maybe it was like, okay, Game Saver took 4 Pianta Shines, I will took 9 pipes, I think something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think alternatively, you could draft something like 18 lives or 100 coin shine in a secret instead, just to kind of like, sure, you can have 4 Pianta Shines, but if you want to go any further, then you might end up wasting your time there, because 9 pipes is still a lot of time to put in. But I mean, Game Stable ended up winning that goal in the long term anyways, so...
Yeah, the Pianta play was nice.
Pianta looks actually pretty good on this card with a deep Pianta play, and then just...
With the NPCs, Rocket,
you get that
Bluebird.
Rocket, Bluebird, you get the Link Bear early, and then you just kind of go to Pinna from there. You get 8 from 1 for free, so...
Yes.
Overall, not too bad, and a good showing from both players. Next up, we had Peaches versus Cider Williams. Now, this was a very hype matchup to see in Week 1 in draft. Peaches ended up taking this 13-7. Now, this was the this was the match where Sid drafted 200s, and everyone went, I don't think you should have drafted 200s, Sid, even if you are the hundreds guy. Because that is the literal only hundreds goal on the card. Which, hey, Sid ended up winning, so good on Sid.
Actually, he did like pretty early, like Gelato Handles.
I think there was a 100 early Gelato 100s in there. From what I remember, Peaches ended up just starting Rico, and there was this timeline where Sid just like hard committed 5 Bianca with boss rematch, and then Peaches cries a little bit early game because of 4 bosses. Peaches is basically starting Rico with Rico hidden and Rico 3 hoverless. So Sid could have like kind of blocked this like 4 bosses boss rematch like contention a little bit more if they stayed in Bianca early on, but I believe they just did the first 5 available shines, no rematch. So, and then from there just kind of went around doing some other things. But Sid hasn't played bingo in a while, so I think this was kind of a refresher for them. And it gets hard when you haven't played bingo in a while. Lots of people are a lot better, young, fast,
Yeah, you have
and
to fight Peaches
new
like the
goals
first
and
week.
you got a route, and it's like, oh my god, so much to think about. The draft gets hard, even though it's like glorified lockout. It kind of gets hard when you don't know what to do in the first 30 minutes. It just feels even worse. So,
Mhm.
but Peaches ended up with a double victory on the week, taking both of their matches. Next up, we had one of the few blowouts in week one, Mason versus Reed in draft, which ended up being a 13-4. Um, I didn't get to see this match, but it kind of looks like Reed just started Rico and Mason played around all of that.
Yeah, also you can see like in the card there were like more blue goals, uh, like 13 Delfino, 5 Bluebird, 15 M's,
Five,
15 Blues from yeah,
yeah, 15 from
like
3, 20 from 2, M graffitis, bluebirds, NPCs, more NPCs, and then 13 Delfino shines with trades, 60 totals. This is actually a pretty enemy blues and 18 strong. Wow, and links. Wow,
yes.
wow, that's a lot when blues goals. That's actually the most
That's
I've.
a lot of blue
That's
goals.
the most I've seen in a card. I didn't even like really look at this card too much when I was surveying cards earlier this week, but that's a lot of blues goals that Mason ended up just basically winning all of.
Yeah, and that was like difficult for Reed because where I know Reed only did any percent like the last year, something like that,
Reed is
and not playing bingo. So yeah, that was difficult. Having a card of that amount of blue goals.
mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, primarily RTA with any percent focus, and then coming back to
mhm.
bingo after 2 years of hiatus, it can be difficult. So,
Yeah.
um, but Mason taking that match very nicely, and then immediately playing their next match against Embouchure in lockout, which Embouchure ended up taking this victory, 13-8. Um, this match was overall pretty well played from Ombo's side. Ambo started Pianta, I believe Mason started with Serena, and then Ambo ended up winning blue trades, and then just kind of like and 15 gelato, and then kind of just ignored blues for the remainder of the match, which Mason ended up kind of just focusing blues for the remainder of the match, which
Mhm.
then let Ambo kind of get away with all this uh,
All the
pinna,
pinna goals.
all the pinna goals, some Noki stuff in here, lily pad, butterfly, like all that stuff that you kind of needed pinna to contest. I guess you didn't need it, but it
Yes.
was like it would have helped significantly more so. Um. Oh yeah. I'm still molding. It was mentioned in chat, so I'm gonna call you out now at this point. When you unlock Yoshi, open Serena. Please, I'm begging you. Takes less than 5 seconds. If you go back and Serena whenever after having Yoshi opened, I'm gonna be molding. It's not worth it. Just do it. Even if Lily Pad's a great goal, which Lily Pad was a good goal in this card at that point in time, and it still got delayed. So there are times to ignore Serena, and this could
I
have
think
been.
this was
This was one of them to ignore, but Serena Hundreds
yeah.
was like on the card, and it was a potential option at one point, and then that option was about to be done, and then it was like, I don't feel like this anymore, so they went back to Pinna. So
Mhm.
good on Ombo to not do a Serena whenever after having Yoshi, but yeah, I'm a known malder for people not opening Serena after having Yoshi. Just do it. Anyways, welcome back, Ombo, to the SMS Bingo League.
Ooh.
They took a season or two off. I don't know how long it's been, but haven't played in a little
3.
bit. 3, yeah. They haven't played in a little bit, but they're back and they're doing a very strong showing here in week one. Going to be potentially a top ranking player in Division One towards the end of the season. Um, Bread versus Derp, we can go over this one now. I kind of want to go in depth on
Uh,
3 matches, so... so I ended up commentating this one. This one, row control, Derp Space ended up taking it 3-2 over Bread. This was a really hard card to route. Like, annoyingly so. There wasn't like a definitive start to really pick from here. There was the Pianta start, obviously, with Pianta Blues, Pianta 3 Damageless, 9 Pipes. And then there was like the other start where you kind of just like pick up Serena and then like Bianca Progress and then just go play Gelato, which both players did the opposite start and then went into Gelato, which Gelato here is like super cheese because you have the 5 Gelato Shines here in row 3. 10 yellow button coins, you had 2 Piantissimos here somewhere in row 2. 1 turbo, which you can get along the way in episode 4 or 5. Opened
Oh
up.
my god, this card for row control was so hard. What?
Yeah.
I'm just realizing how difficult it was for row control.
This card is just pain, and both players were doing this Gelato play, and Brett ended up leaving to stop doing the play, and Derp continued it, which was good for Derp. Brett ended up just slightly pushing off 9 Delfino too much. They were working on like opening Plaza stuff up and picking up some blues here, and no, they were not picking up blues. Excuse me. They were opening up Plaza stuff and then kind of working on some other shines like red coins, which allowed Derp to just kind of sneak in here with this 9 Delfino Turbo 2 Piantissimo play because Red had those 9 pipes from the Serena play with 4 Serena shines, 2 circuits, 1 level, red coins with Delfino stuff. So, and then towards the end, it kind of just worked out into like, if Red gets 3 from 4, they're still in a really good position and goes to Pinna. And then it's like also, Derp had 3 blue trades for like ever, and then never picked up 10 more blues. So at any point, Red just like dropped everything and just rushed 40 totals, Derp was going to be in a world of pain. But Derp ended up finally taking out 40 total blues, and then it was down to like Butterfly Blue and 7 enemies, which Derp was ahead to both. So
that is rough to lose that 2 goals from so close.
So one of the closest matches of week 1, and I think it's definitely worth a watch if you want to see a harder card to route, because this card was hard to route.
Also, the second match that Derp wins in row control.
2 row control matches this week, and Derp won both of them. So good on Derp.
Derp is the new
PK.
row control god.
Yep.
Yeah, the new PK.
New PK. And for the final match on Saturday, we had Tober versus Game Stabled in Invasion, and this match kind of wrote itself when Game did not click Bianco Hidden in time. So both players started 15 Bianca Blues, which was the fastest start on the card. I guess 15 Delfino is technically faster, but you didn't want to be stuck in column 5 anyways. Both players started 15 Bianco. Turbers was just a little bit better. And then it was like, okay, well, you do that. You just go, if you lose that, you just go do Bianco Hidden, and then you play Rose game instead of columns. Game Stabled opted to delay Bianco Hidden.
Oh no.
And was going to click it either right when they entered Rico or beating up Blooper or something. And during that time, Tober managed to get Bianco 100 Coin Shine, which confirmed the columns game, which column 5 was kind of painful to play out of with Delfino Rocket, Pin of 5 from the back cover list, Boss rematch, 15 Delfino Blues, and 60 totals.
Wow.
So,
no, yeah, that column was trash. Especially if you don't start with 15 Delfino or something like that. Or like in the point of working to that. But if you start working on 15 Bianculus and then you have to do like column 5, like yo.
So There was also like a point in time where like Tober could have like somehow rushed like 18 lives and then just gotten Bianco hidden right after that, and then that was like extra over. But game ended up managing to build a little bit of a base here, but this was just too hard to work out of. Oh yeah, five bluebirds was a snipe by like 2 seconds, 3 seconds.
Wow.
It was absurdly close, and that kind of hurt for the mid game because 18 lives. I mean, 18 lives is fine, but 6 from 2, 3 rockets. That's all kind of annoying. 2 from 5. That's progress, which game playing out of like 3.5 shines of gelato makes it even harder. So Tober kind of just got free reign for most of the card here.
But a good comeback for Tober,
Yeah,
coming to the league. And also something of this match was the commentaries. I think the commentaries was the most funny commentaries in. I remember. Oh, it was amazing.
big
Was like a bingo bongo fiesta.
big shout out to Lion Cash, Yoshichi,
Yeah,
and definitely Nuppers. It was definitely Nuppers.
was
not
really good.
not someone else that was named Nuppers, but definitely Nuppers. Thank you to both Nuppers. Um, so Tober taking it 13-7 over game stable and invasion. Kind of a rough outset from the
Rough
start
invasion.
from losing this goal. Or losing this click to confirm Rose, because Rose was definitely better to work out of than column 5.
They're manageable.
So
You have Reiko hidden. You have 2 rockets, 3 rockets.
you
That's
get to play gelato hiddens. Yeah,
yeah.
gelato hiddens, 2 rockets, 3 rockets, Rico hidden, 20 from 2.
Mhm.
You can work up into this with 6 from 2, and then work your way over. But that's just where that's at. I'm gonna come back to this one. We're gonna come back to that one.
That one.
Dingaman versus Google Cheese and Lockout. Dingaman taking this 13-7. Didn't quite get to see this, but from what I skimmed through, it kind of looked like the routes didn't align too much here.
Yeah,
There was a little bit of
I remember had like a better route than Google Cheese. So that made like Thingman getting a lot of the goals.
Yeah.
Everything was working, and yeah.
So kind of.
Yeah, and also that happened.
Seeing
Yeah,
missing a
Google
4
Cheese
from
forgot.
4 from 2 click from Google Cheese. So it gets hard when you forget to click things or counting. Counting's hard. Counting to 12, counting to
That is
13.
hard.
Counting is really hard in bingo. A lot of numbers. So yeah, it just kind of looks like Newman picked a lot of the faster options here. All right, Gelato hundreds, 100 punch and a secret doesn't look too appealing on this card, especially the lockout card. 50 from 2, it's not terrible with I guess like Rico or something else. I mean, even 150 Delfino with 8 Delfino shines on this card is not a bad option, but 3 rockets takes forever, 100s takes forever, so just kind of that kind of thing.
Yeah, I remember Google Cheese like did 15 from Bianco pretty early, something like that. And that maybe was like a little too much of commitment to handles.
After that, we have Libre versus Bread Ghost in Invasion, with Bread Ghost taking the victory 13-9. I believe the first click here was 16 Piano Blues by Libre, and then Bread working out of column 5 just kind of worked over the middle of the board a little bit better than Libre did with some of these clicks.
Yeah, the problem with Libre's route was he focused a lot on 8 Delfinos. Yeah, that moment. A little more later, he will click like 8 Delfinos.
Yeah, right here.
That right there, Libre was behind to Pina because he focused a lot on 8 Delfinos.
Yeah, I think out of column 1 you kind of need 15 M graffitis with Pinna here.
And
and then you can come back to Delfino after that fact. Because not winning 16 pin blues is not the end of the world, but not winning 15 graffitis on your side of the board is kind of rough.
And also, Libre did progress to that during the Pianta, so he did progress, and the focusing made him slower, like behind. That happened principally. And with that, the rest of the game was pretty difficult because the rest of the goals,
Counts IW.
because Libre was already behind on Pina, and Red had right Yoshi from towards, and that stuff happened.
Yeah, ended up stealing 7 enemies from Bread, but at that point, Bread didn't really need the goal. Bread had quite a few options here after winning 4 uniques as well, which Libre was kind of close to, if I was correct. Probably had 2, maybe 3 bosses. So.
Yeah, something like that.
So
I don't remember exactly why.
And then three rockets was pretty important for Bread to win there as well. So at that point, it gets kind of hard to find the victory, but. And then Bread's like win con was either 15 Delfino shines with blue trades or Delfino rocket because Libre couldn't click both. So
yes.
And I believe on their like 15th Delfino shine, Bread like had Delfino rocket open to go like track down from Shadow Mario. So yeah, just this kind of mid game 16 pinna 15M graffitis kind of section here. Maybe two S1L kind of thing. It just worked out better for Bread's side of the board, or route rather, kind of stealing these goals away from Libre. And then we have Reed versus Yato in Lockout, with Reed taking the victory 13-5. This was a rough card for you.
If you remember the card from Mason and Reed, okay, that was like the complete opposite.
Yeah, this doesn't have enough blues and hundreds. Reed did what I think was the correct play, which is just speed bully and just play Shine Progress the entire game, which made it really hard for you to defend a lot of these early game goals, like 3 boss shines that was sniped because speed. They kind of worked out 4 hiddens, 4 reds from you while you were picking up blues, and then just kind of proceeded, Rico 3 hoverless, going to Pinna, or Pianta, beating 6 pipes, going to Pinna, working out Pinna stuff, 2 from 5 progress. Did get sniped towards the end on Rico 100s, but...
Yeah, I won Rico 100, that is the thing.
Reed did start that probably like a minute before you did, but was not practiced enough in the hundreds. They would have had it too if they picked up the rocket nozzle, but Reed forgot to pick up the rocket nozzle and then missed like the tower coin stacks. Ended up missing out on the shine by 20 seconds or so, but had the backup with just 1 butterfly blue and Rico 8.
No, yeah. At that point, it was impossible for me to win, but was good to take something.
So definitely a hard card for the speed difference here, and just in Lockout in general. It's the speed bully format when the speed differential is this big. Now, the 3 matches I really want to highlight of this week, starting off, we have Dex versus Yato in Row Control. I was not expecting this card state at the end. I saw very briefly the start of it, and I thought, wow, Dex is in a really good position with just these 3 clicks. Has 11 Delfino, Rico 3 hoverless, 23 Rico. They're pretty well set up for blues. They have the bosses set up in Rico, episodes, that kind of thing. And then it just kind of... They lost episodes, lost bosses, lost secrets, and then kind of just went from there. I'm sure you can...
Lost 3 reds.
Yeah, 3 reds was big, and you can probably explain this match a little bit better than I can since you played it.
Okay. That point was a little... when Dex clicked the 3 first goal, I was like, I'm so behind from stuff. And then I got like into Pina, and okay, I was like, I can win three red coin doing like Pina 3, Pina 2R, Pina 3, and something. Something else. And also that thing of Pina made me have progress to all 3 cannonballs. and also having progress to uh, like getting more fast to Noki,
Yeah.
because I needed like to get to Nogi to not to get the third cannon mode, and also made the progress to the Noki handle. So
Yep. You ended up winning the Noki goals, and most notably, uh, Dex clicking Lilypad no pipe clicks at the 35.5 minute mark, and Yato clicking 5 Bluebirds at the 40.5 minute mark. So Reed just kind of, or not Reed, excuse me, Dex just ignoring Bluebirds outright.
mm-hmm.
Is kind of surprising to me, especially with it being
That was a delay.
fives. Oh, that was a delay too. Dang.
Yeah, I remember. I
Um,
delayed that goal. I don't remember for how much, but I delayed to make like Dex thinking that was an option to do.
mhm.
And then when I finished the Noki one, I was like, okay, this is a good time to click the goal, and I clicked.
Yeah, and then after that, there's just a lot of red clicks here. 3 from 4, quick animals. Dex moving up with some blues here. 50 from 2 with that Noki hundreds play, and probably 100 Sunshine in a secret here. Where did you do that?
The 100 in a secret was in Rico 4.
Rico 4, which makes sense with the Rico play early on.
Because we started both on Rico, but I was behind. So I saw like the click of Rico 3 hoverless first, and then I did like Rico 3 normal.
Mm-hmm.
That made me. That made me have like Rico 4 during for the handle.
And winning out Eel Blues, I see Dex clicking out 65 totals. There's not a final click here, but I'm sure you had it somewhere.
No. The thing that happened was like I had Bianco 5 open.
Mm-hmm.
So my only necessary thing was doing Bianco Shademar.
Yeah,
And
you need one of 3 goals, which is Bianca Shanamara, the
yes.
Free Ladies, and Turn for Hit, and I'm guessing Dex
And
said I'm done with that.
yeah, I think like Dex didn't have like any progress to Bianco if I remember good, or at least like one shine like the boss.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And yeah, and then Dex, when he realized what's behind on Bianco Shadow Mario, he said like, FF.
So yeah, this was a very well played match from you, Yato. I am very impressed, especially with you not being in Pinna first. I'm seeing there's
What's a little presentation like good, because I think Dex after Pina, if I remember good, did like Bowski instead of Lilipad, something like that.
That makes sense. Me throwing is in the top 3. Damn, unfortunate. So I think this was a really nice match to see, and a very good improvement from Yato. Row control
I think
hard.
it was very good.
Next up, no bias, and that's also because I was not willing to super in-depth look at other matches. Lazy show host, I know. Rasmus versus me in lockout, 13-11. This match was wild.
Was crazy. Like all the match was so close.
And it's kind of crazy because, as Lego explained it during the commentary, there was these 2 kind of starts. You could pick Pianta here with the 16 Pianta Blues, this NPCs play. Eventually, you work towards 1 episode 8, 3 rockets, and all that stuff. And then there's the other play where you just kind of set up with Bianco to Gelato, Rico, kind of that stuff, which is what Rasmus did. So you can see where, I got pipes, I have these NPC blues, and Rasmus was just setting up with some reds, hiddens, shine progress, and ended up winning 12 level shines when I was at like 9 or 10 or something like that in Pinna. I ended up spending a little too much time, unfortunately, with these 16 Pinna blues, and because I was working for this 20 from 2 goal, and my thought process was I might as well go for this goal because I'm in Pinna, and if there's still this chance that Rasmus could be trying to sneak blues under me because it was still kind of early in the match. And I took a really long time picking up 20 Pinna blues in one. It was not worth it. I definitely should have done some blues in one and then see where the goal was at and then come back to it in 3 or 5. And then finish out 22 maybe from Rico, since I already had 8 blues in Rico, and Rico 20 is pretty fast even in, and I was going up to Rico 3 anyways for the rocket. So that was a misplay for me, but I still could have been fine. Now there is a click coming up and it's right there. 7 shines and secrets after 2 from 7. This threw me for a loop because at this point I was like, there is no way, not a single chance Rasmus touches 1 episode 8. That is my end game win con. That's going to be my goal of 13, my set of 13. It's perfect. It'll be fine. And I get the Pinna stuff. Turbo gets clicked. I'm like, okay, Bianco, even better. A little bit later, I lose 3 rockets, which was very tragic. I'm like, all right, well, Bianco, Rico, Noki. That's understandable. I was trying to work it out with Noki, Pianta, Rico. After that click game, 1 episode 8. That's where everything went downhill for me because I was like, I don't have a backup plan. Oh no. And at this point, I was like, all right, I know Rasmus does not have Pinna progress. There's not a chance. So I can have Delfino Rocket perfectly fine. I'm also up on blues way too much, so I'll have 13 Delfino. So I need to either win Gelato Hundreds or 4 Noki. So Rasmus exited area out of Noki after the rocket. I exited area after winning out 12 from 4 and 60 totals there, which was the incorrect call. I should have gone the bird. Oh well. From there, I finished Delfino Shines, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to go to Gelato Hundreds because I expect Rasmus to not exit area in Noki and to be going through Noki because they expect me to never do 100 coin shine because I hate 100 coin shines, especially Gelato Hundreds. That was apparently just wrong. And Rasmus went from Noki to Gelato Hundreds with the delay click of 1 episode 8, which was Rico 8. But they clicked Gelato Hundreds on Shine Touch, which then it became a 4 Noki Shines race, which then I ended up losing because I blanked out and forgot to do Rico 3. Or Noki 3. My brain stopped working, and then I forgot how to do the route, and then I got the wrong coin in the wrong order, and then I missed the coin at the top of the water chute, and that was GG. Which is both the funniest and most depressing way to lose a match, but overall, I was really a fan of this Pianta route. I think I just overcommitted blues a little too hard, and then I probably should have pushed Pianta episode 8 and 3 rockets a little bit sooner. I still believe in my choice of going to Gelato Hundreds over Farnoki at that point, especially with the exit area, which I should have moved exit area, but oh well. But that's where that match ended out, so could have been a victory for me, but alas, it was not meant to be today.
Yeah, but I like in the late game, it's like really difficult to make like decisions very accurate, especially after a match that was so close. Like every single, I remember rewatching the match and saying like the score was 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, 5-5, 6-6, something like that.
So it was really close all the way through, just up until the end where I flubbed the last shine, which I was ahead into Noki 3. If had I done it, perfectly normal, perfectly fine, I would have won that goal and then Delfino Rocket, 40 seconds later.
Yeah.
So the last match of the week that I want to highlight is JJ versus Despin in Invasion. This is the Season 3 Div 1 Finals rematch of Week 1. Despin taking the victory 13-11. And this card was kind of interesting to see play out because JJ started with Pianta 3 damageless, I believe, and Despin was kind of just like setting up and then eventually committed to this Bianca 4 hoverless start. And then 2 hidden reds hoverless. JJ then clicks 9 pipes, 2 hiddens, 1 level, and Pianta 3 damageless. So now we're playing Rose for sure. with 9 pipes, and this was all fine. JJ was, setting up pretty decently here in this early game. Despin, getting these blues goals that he was kind of slated to win with Bianco start comparatively to a Pianta IW. JJ
What's
getting.
a funny start like the match? I remember saying like the individual word of Pianta being
Mhm.
played like just at the beginning.
It was kind of an interesting strat to just go
Yeah,
straight for the center goal and then play off of it, which I think ended up
Mhm.
working really well for JJ because of the Bianca 4 hover click, and I think it was fine to work out of row 5 here, even with Eel being in your base, just because 9 pipes is already clicked and you don't have to worry about it anymore, and the other 3 goals are not that hard.
Yeah.
So 2 turbos is a little long, but it was not a big deal, but then it ended up becoming a big deal. So JJ, finishing up 50 from 2, Rico hundreds, 45 totals, all this Bluebird stuff. And see, at this point, it's 7 to 4, and it kind of looks a little grim for Despin because JJ's like super building up his
Uh-huh.
base. Despin just comes up with just a series of clicks that just ended up working out really well with his 5 reds, both Goldbirds, 5 hiddens, 4 boss shines, which was a good click there as well. All these clicks right here just ended up being really nice, and then JJ had to spend a lot of time here going
On Eel.
for Eel
Yeah.
Blues and Eel, kind of playing out Noki, while Desmond got to set up all of this stuff in his base and in row 2 secrets 1 level, 4 boss shines, all that stuff. And because of that, with this Eel Blues and Eel Shine stuff, Desmond ended up like being able to just win out all of row 3 towards the end, which was huge with 6 from 2 and 8 Delfinos at the end here. JJ notably getting 60 totals in Despin's base, but at that point it didn't matter. And then finished on a Mario to finish it off. And it was really interesting because it really seemed like JJ was gonna win this when it was 7 to 4, and then just came
Yeah.
like this series of clicks where Despin just like started like really making the route work out, and then JJ got stuck playing out Noki to get across the board and couldn't like. There was a chance for JJ to like play 26 shines and then like 6 from 2 here, but it was still like at a point in the match where like you have like this right, and it doesn't
Mhm.
seem that important to work on that, and then like that gets clicked, and then it's like you click Eel Blues and Eel, and it's like this is
Mhm.
getting kind of rough with row 3, so. And then yeah, Despin ended up winning out almost all of row 3, which was the nail in the coffin there towards the end.
Yeah, I don't remember a match getting like 4-4-1. I don't remember other match like ended like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when you think it's an Oki race after seeing both Goldbergs get clicked, when I believe that was either a snipe or relatively close to being clicked by JJ, you can imagine that's like, okay, I should probably focus these Eel Blues, and then
Yeah,
I
no,
don't want to
no.
lose Eel Shine or something, because if Despin has like this like secret like 100 coin shine on a boss progress or something, so
Hmm.
understandable.
No, yeah, a very understandable decision.
So a very good match in Invasion, and I think it was one of
Hmm.
the highlights of the week. And that is all the matches. Notably, you may be going, hey, there was one more. It was Schmidt versus Dingelman. Match ended in a 13 to 12 quote unquote victory for Dingelman, but um,
Some
some
delays on
some
the
people
drama.
people delay, people
Yeah.
controversy, things are
Hmm.
happening. So I'm currently believing this match is going to be replayed. I have not gotten confirmation on that. I actually don't know what's happening, but that's just my current assumption,
Hmm.
um, because of delays in draft being not allowed. Well,
Yeah,
certain.
the delays on draft can make you like think another route is happening and make all the like counting.
Mhm.
And also, what do you think of the matches from the week 1, there was only 3 invasions.
Yeah, and then
From
now
all the
here,
matches.
now here
And
in
now all the invasions.
invasion, more invasion. Yeah, week 2 is a lot of invasion. So we're getting close to the end of our show here. We're just going to be kind of perusing week 2 matchups, kind of just seeing what's happening here. We have Blaze Roll versus Gula Cheese. This is Blaze's first time in Bingo League. This is going to be their first tournament match. So against Google Cheese, which I think is a great opponent for them for the first match, and Invasion, which Invasion, in my opinion, is a terrible format, but it's good to learn and to kind of help you focus on kind of directed routing decisions because you're confined by how you can proceed across the board. It's not so freeform, so it can kind of help you just build a routing like guideline.
Also can help you like to be more like accurate to the timing, because in invasion you need the timing. Having to know like how much time takes to do something is very important to the invasion. So
Oh, we got all the rest of the schedule while I've been talking. That's nice. So that's going to be the first match of the week, starting tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. We have Darkman versus Tanuki Mario in Row Control.
yeah.
Mason versus Dex in Draft. Now, this is going to be an interesting matchup because this was a potential Division 2 semifinals.
Yeah.
From season 3 had I lost to Dex, but I ended up choosing a victory 2-1 in the set. So we get to see this. I do think Mason is a little bit favored here, but there is always a chance that Mason just gets completely out-routed by Dex because Dex is just a genius in some of these matches.
Both of the players are pretty good routers.
So, Birdghost versus Elias in Invasion. I'd favor Birdghost here. I think Brett has just been playing more than Elias has, so I think they're just a little bit more bingo ready than Elias is. And Invasion, again, more directed routing, so I think Birdghost has a little bit of an advantage here with just the routing potential here. Me versus you.
Yeah, I favor you in the predictions.
I would also favor me, but it is the format where I'm probably the most likely to lose, which is Invasion. So.
Oh, true. You are a boomer.
I am a boomer, and I do not like Invasion. And Invasion kind of favors the slower player here. So, depending on the card and depending on the route, I might get it completely outplayed here. But.
But it will be a good match, I think.
I hope it'll be a good match. More Invasion. We have Libre versus Jukatox. That's actually been a pretty hype matchup. I think both of these players are very close in both speed and routing capabilities.
Yes.
I think Libre might be slightly more favored in just lockout routing than Juka, but
it's Invasion.
But it's Invasion overall, so Invasion. This is the reason why I don't like Invasion, because it gets hard if you don't make the correct routing calls early on in building your base and whatnot. So that's going to be a hype matchup to look forward to. We have Tober versus Dex, another good matchup. Dex getting to play 2 good matchups here. Invasion. Tober, a little fresh off the
On the comeback?
The hiatus, yes, that was the word I was looking for. So, Tober could just outplay Dex here in routing, or Dex could just play better than Tober because more practiced. Who knows? We have Sighted Williams versus Popo in Row Control. That's gonna be nice. That's gonna be nice to watch because Row Control and both of these players are probably not boomers. Row Control practiced. I would favor Sid just a little bit over Popo, just in general over long-term bingo knowledge and experience, but Popo might be able to just pull out this insane route as well. So Schmidt versus Blaze, Bro Control. Good matchup. A lot of good matchups here. I don't know if I'm just a big fan of bingo and matchups, but I think season
Oh
4
yeah,
so far has a
very
lot
good.
of just like potentially hype matchups to happen.
I
Um,
think this match, the Smith versus plays in row control, I favor Schmidt
mhm.
for having more experience in routing. And
Yeah,
because he had a teaching lesson of row control with me and Juan, so I hope
I'm
we did good work.
I'm honestly split 50-50 on this matchup because Schmidt is more experienced here, but Blaze is definitely more speed bully by like
Hmm.
a significant amount, which speed bully can come into play in row control, but also depending on the card, it just maybe a perfect route doesn't can just nullify some speed bully stuff. So it'll be very
Yeah.
interesting to see how this match plays out. Next up, we have me versus Despot in draft. I'm gonna be honest, this is not gonna be any good to watch. I'm probably gonna get washed out. Um, it'll probably, if I had to guess right now, it's gonna end as a 13-8, 13-9 with Despot winning. I have not won against Despot in 3 matches straight. So, and 2 of those were draft. Um, I think Dustman is just a little bit too bingo smart now for me. I got away with my one victory when Dustman didn't completely know how to play bingo, but now that Dustman knows how to play bingo and is also just faster than me, I think I am
Yeah, I also have that.
not favored to win. I'm also just bad at draft in general. I think draft is one of my weaker formats by a long shot. So, but there's always a chance that I might be able to pull out some sneaky delays and win it out.
Hmm.
So, Juketox versus Dingleman in draft. Juka has the big speed advantage, but I think Dingamon is a better router in general. Now, assuming no people delays or anything, I would favor Dingamon here,
Yeah, think
just slightly. I think they.
yeah, because of the route.
I think
But Yuga
they're. Yeah.
can do the plays.
Juka can do the
Yeah,
plays.
Yuga can do it. I trust Yuga.
JJ versus Rasmus in Invasion.
That will be high.
It's going to be good because
Yeah, very good.
JJ just played Invasion, so he has the experience for that. And then Rasmus defeated RhMHatoh last season in Invasion, which everyone didn't think that was going to happen. So
Oh yeah, I remember that.
we will see if Rasmus can be 2 for 2 in dethroning the top Elo player of the boards
Of the season.
of the season. Or if JJ will take that week 1 experience versus Desmond and apply it here to their victory against Rasmus. After that, Game Stable versus Derp Space and Invasion. Gonna be pretty close. I'm currently favoring Game, but Derp is also a very strong player, nonetheless.
Depends of the card, I think. Question.
If
This
it's
case.
if it's a speed bully first goal and then the rest of the bases suck, then Derp's probably gonna win. But if the card's more balanced for Invasion, then I think Game is a little bit better favored with the routing.
And also, game have the experience of clicking goals from the base, but it's needed. So
and not delaying too long, hopefully. We have Google Cheese versus Earthide in row control. I would expect Google Cheese to win this, as Earthide is still relatively new to bingo.
Oh.
And then finally, looking like the last match of the week 2, we have Embouchure versus Popo in row control, which I believe Ambo is heavily favored for this matchup, just in terms of routing capabilities.
well, it will be pretty hype. But no. But I think Embo shows very pretty good quality decisions. So yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, Popo is playing row control against Sid earlier in the week, literally the day
Oh,
before.
true.
So Popo might get that experience and apply it to this match here, and might be able to sneak out something against Ambo. But I would still say Ambo is favored nonetheless. And that is the week 2 preview. So
Pretty hype week.
We've gone through week 1, which was a very strong start to season 4. Week 2 is looking to shape up to be filled with a lot of good matches, though it is very, very invasion and row control heavy. There is not a single regular lockout match happening this week. Oh my god.
Yeah, that happened when the first ban was like invasion.
Everyone banned row control and invasion. So no one can play it, or no one can ban it again. That's actually pretty funny.
I did ban invasion and row control in the first week.
That's pretty good. I get to play invasion and draft, which are probably my two weakest of the 4, in my opinion. Though some would say I am bad at row control, which is okay. I do have bad row control matches. Mm-hmm. So, current standings of the week: JJ up on top, Dustbin, Rasmus, Peaches, me, Ombo, Tober. It would be really cool if we had a week-to-week incline and decline. It seems like too much effort, but like
cool.
That would be cool to see in the future, like a weekly incline and weekly decline, like plus arrow, minus arrow, whatever.
Yeah.
So here's the top. So, yep, Ombo finishing out the 1,000 plus rated players. Then we have the 900s, Tober, followed by Mason, only down by 2 points. Reed standing over MrYhatoh here. Sighted and Popo tied with decks slightly below those two. And then we take a big drop down to 700 and 600, where we have Game Stable Derp, 2 very closely rated players. Libre followed by Birdghost, with Birdghost coming off a pretty big win here against Libre, who was rated well above them in week 1, followed by Elias. And then coming down here, Jukatox, Dingamon, Schmidt, Blaze, still at 300 as they have not played it week 1. Google Cheese, Darkman, Earthside, and Tanuki Mario rounding out the end of the standings. So, yeah, that is it for
that was week 1.
Week 1 of the Inside Line Bingo Talk Show, name to be determined completely when I stopped stealing suggestions and changing it every 5 seconds. With Deathline and Yado.
Woo!
Woo!
That was pretty.
So,
we're gonna write someone, or
if a mod wants to set up a